Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is iRyanI, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 275 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out, and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with GamerSupps, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to check out the link in the description where you can go to their store page, and you can also use the code RTD for a 10% discount on all your purchases. I also want to say, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any brand new mods each and every single week. Now that all that's out of the way, we can jump into this week's mods. And starting us off, we have a new Alchemy mod called Apothecary, and Alchemy Overhaul. This also includes the food and drink add-on, so there's no other add-ons that you'll have to get alongside with this mod, and the mod page reads that Apothecary is a complete overhaul of Skyrim's alchemy, food, and alcohol systems designed to balance existing potions, poisons, foods, and alcohols while adding powerful new effects to the game. This mod normalizes the magnitude of all alchemical ingredients in order to eliminate the gameplay loop of checking UESP to see which effects have slightly higher potencies, or chasing salmon roe to level up. It also significantly reduces the gold value of both player-created potions and generic potions, while ensuring that the player still levels at a faster rate than vanilla. In addition, this mod rebalances generic potions so that their strongest and weakest variants match the potency of player-created potions. Finally, Apothecary removes the several useless or poorly implemented effects in order to make room for more interesting and new effects without adding new ingredients. Apothecary doesn't require any other mods, but it is designed to be consistent with the mod creator's other mods that he has, such as the Mysticism Magic Overhaul, so if you have that already installed in your list, like if you were following our previous load order, you already have Mysticism, so this is going to fit alongside perfectly with that mod. Now when it comes to the changes made to the potions within the game, first we have the Restore Health, Magicka, and Stamina potions now work over a 10-second period. They also don't stack, but are affected by abilities that increase potion duration. And then potions such as Fortify One-Handed and Resist Fire have higher potencies, and potions such as Fortify Health, Fortify Magicka Regeneration, and Fortify Armor Rating have lower potencies and extended durations. There's also new utility potions that allow the player to experiment with effects that were much rarer in the vanilla game, such as Become Ethereal and Water Walking. Whenever it comes to the poisons, Damage, Health, Magicka, and Stamina deal stacking damage over time now. The lingering damage potions are still clearly differentiated from other poisons. And then like I said, this mod also already features the food and drink add-on already inside of it, and whenever it comes to the changes that are made to the food, in Apothecary, food items provide long-lasting buffs to health regeneration, Magicka regeneration, and stamina regeneration. And then the type of buff a food item provides, as well as the magnitude of the buff, are based on the items used to create the food. So meats, stews, and breads provide health regeneration, desserts and cheeses provide Magicka regeneration, and then vegetables and soups provide stamina regeneration. Since players can have a source of each buff at the same time, Apothecary encourages the consumption of a wide variety of food items. And then one of the biggest changes to food that actually makes it worthwhile to use in the battlefield, exploring, or wherever you are all throughout Skyrim, by default with this mod, all food items last for 30 minutes. So if you're playing in survival, this is going to be extremely useful. And that's definitely why the Apothecary Alchemy Overhaul is featured here at our number 5 spot this week, so I'd recommend downloading it and trying some of these new food items for yourself. Coming in at the number 4 spot this week, we have a new way to pass time in the inns and actually have some fun and play some card games in Skyrim. This is the Really Simple Gambling mod, and the mod page reads that this mod adds 2 minigames that can be played against any innkeeper in Skyrim. These games are Blackjack and Pharaoh. This is simultaneously a conversion and merge of the Really Simple Blackjack card minigame mod and the Really Simple Pharaoh card game mod. So this is pretty much a mod pack of two very popular gambling mods on Skyrim for PC, but it's been ported over to console and we have them both in one mod, so this is perfect. Now Blackjack, like its real world equivalent, is a basic chance game where you want to get as close to the number 21 with your held cards as possible without going over that number. To start the game, simply ask any innkeeper to play, and you can hit, stand, double down, and split, and if you choose to not do anything for 15 seconds, then the game will automatically force you to stand. The maximum amount of cards you can draw is 6, and if you do get to 6 cards without busting, you win automatically. And then winning without a blackjack, which is a perfect score of 21, is a payout of 1-1. But winning with a blackjack is a payout of 3-2, so you get a huge bonus there. And then the other card game that you can play within this mod is called Pharaoh. Like its real world equivalent, is a tad bit more complicated of a game, where the player wants to bet on the right cards. And first there's two options to choose from when you start playing, original and blacklight, and in the original the dealer draws 2 cards, which is the losing card and the winning card, but there's also a high card that you can bet on. And a high card bet wins if the winning card has a higher value than the losing card. Bets placed on the losing card are lost, and bets placed on the winning card are won at a 1-to-1 ratio. And then in the blacklight version of Pharaoh, the dealer only draws 1 card, and the player cannot bet on the high card either. Winning this mode nets you a payout of 12-1, which is an absolutely massive jackpot, so if you end up hitting that, that's going to be huge. So this is already a pretty well set up mod. You already have the card table, you talk to an innkeeper and you get everyone set up. And it's not just you and the innkeeper playing, you can also have other people that are currently in the inn play with you too, which I think is absolutely awesome. So there'll be people that pull up to the right side and left side and it'll deal new decks out to those people, or you could just be playing with the innkeeper and you play around and then it says, Holda joined in. And then you see a new deck of cards get shuffled to the right. So people can join in an active game or just be there from the get-go, so I think it really feels like a real-world card table, and I love it. And we aren't just playing with regular playing cards, there's actually 4 selectable decks for both games. There's just the original deck, and then you have Birth Signs, Fantasy, as well as Witcher decks that all can be chosen within the mini menu there. So if you're looking to relax for a bit, head to the inn, grab a drink, and pass the time for a while, then I'd strongly recommend downloading the Really Simple Gambling mod because it gives you 2 brand new card games to play at any inn throughout Skyrim, and it's super fun and you can make so much gold this way. And that's definitely why the Really Simple Gambling mod is featured here at a number 4 spot, so I'd recommend downloading it and giving this game a try for yourself. Coming in at the number 3 spot this week, we have a brand new armor mod pack that features so many new armors that have been added into the leather category throughout Skyrim. This is the Fashions of the Huntsmen mod. And the mod page reads, have you noticed that every single leather armor in Skyrim kinda looks the same? Of course you did. And this mod aims to change that by adding 9 or 15, if you count all the variants, of new lore-friendly leather armor sets to the game, suiting other regions and races' smithing styles. Every time you encounter someone using leather, it'll be one of the 15 different variations. This is done by changing the outfit records of the leather sets in the game, by adding the armors into sublists, and then adding those sublists to another sublist of a matching set. Then that sublist is placed into the regular standard leather set, and this will guarantee that when an actor is wearing leather spawns, it'll always be the matching set, but sometimes they don't have a helmet on. So there was a lot of coding going in to make sure all of this worked properly, but within these 15 new armor sets that you see all throughout the game, it's not just crafting them within the crafting station, you actually see these armors across any NPC that's wearing leather throughout the game, and I really like that. And then moving on to the actual 15 armors that are added within this mod, first off we have the Altmeri leather set, the Atmoran leather set, you have a Colonial Militia set, as well as the Cyrodiilic studded set, and then you have the Fletcher's leather, Khajiit leather, Bretonnic leather, the Orcish leather, Valenwood leather, and more, and all of these also have different types of dyes that you can get, so you can make red dye, you can make blue dye, and you can dye your armor sets different colors. And to get this blue dye, you can simply just combine 5 mountain blue flowers and dwarven oil inside of a cooking pot. To get the red dye, you do the same, but with mountain red flowers. And then finally, the last ingredient that you can make is called Gambeson fabric, and this is with 1 linen wrap, 2 leather straps, and 5 tundra cotton. You can craft it at a tanning rack, and you make 2 each time, which actually crafts one of the armors that you can get. It's a special type of fabric that you can only make with this one armor set, and it makes it look really, really nice. And as you can see as I'm showcasing these new leather armor sets, a lot of these look really great, and I really love the color palette they used. It's not just the same type of brown for every different type of leather set, they actually really mix and matched it. Like the Valen wood is all green, and then you have different types of dyes that you can get, brown, and then you have the red and blue, and then other armor sets such as Orcish is a lot darker. You know, they really made it so these armor sets really blend together nicely, and all the colors look really great, and they're also very different from one another too, because I had a feeling that whenever I downloaded this from the get-go, they were all going to feel kind of samey, but I was absolutely wrong. This mod is just under 500 megabytes and adds 15 new armor sets to the game that you can not only craft yourself, but also find throughout the world on NPCs, and I think these look absolutely amazing, and that's why it's featured here at a number 3 spot this week. So if you like what these armors look like and you want to try them out in your game, then I'd strongly recommend downloading the Fashions of the Huntsmen mod. Coming in at the number 2 spot this week, we have a brand new lighting overhaul that completely transforms everywhere you go and all of the lighting all throughout Skyrim. And it does this all within 10 megabytes. This is Resplendence, a lighting overhaul. And the mod page reads that this is the mod creator's realistic take on changing up the interior and exterior lighting for Skyrim. It's the lighting mod pack that they'll personally be using in all future load orders, as they feel that this is exactly what they want the mod to do. It darkens dungeons, makes it so all of your spells emit light on your hand whenever casted onto a surface, and even whenever you just have the spell activated and it's just in your hand, you can see a reflection of the spell actually casting light onto everywhere around you in dark caves. And I think that's a very small touch, but makes such a huge difference, especially in the dark, because like I said, this mod darkens the dungeons a little bit, so they're going to be a little bit more darker, so you may need a torch, but it's nothing extremely crazy like ELFX making all of the caves completely dark. This just makes them slightly darker, but keeps all the light sources. On top of that, you have the Smoking Candles and Torches mod, which is just a little immersion boost there, but the mods that were actually featured within this mod, you have Relighting Skyrim with Window Shadows, Realistic Lighting Overhaul, Immersive Spell Effects Emit Light, and the Darkened Dungeon Lighting mod. Now, in my opinion, lighting mods are probably one of the hardest mods to pick within a load order, other than like SMIM mods. Those are also really difficult to pick, but you just never really know what to go for, or you really never know the theme you're going for either until you see it for yourself. And whenever I downloaded this mod, I was a little skeptical at first because I always use ELFX, which is a huge lighting mod. I'm sure everyone has heard of Enhanced Light and Effects, and that is an absolutely massive mod coming in at like 75 megabytes plus all of the add-ons that you have to get on top of that. But this comes in at under 10 megabytes, and it does everything that you would expect a mod like ELFX to do as well. I'm a really big fan of the changes that are made to the lighting within Skyrim within this mod, but I feel like in my own personal opinion, I can't go without the ELFX mod and having all of the caves completely dark, because that's absolutely my favorite thing about ELFX. You know, there's that hardcore add-on that makes every single cave completely black, so you have to use a torch, and that just makes every cave feel so much different and more unique, and I really love that about ELFX. But the fact that these are just a little bit darker, when it comes to the dungeon lighting, I'm not the biggest on this, but everywhere else throughout the game, especially the spells that emit light in hand, I thought that was the coolest mod within this mod pack here. And then on top of that, you have, you know, the realistic lighting overhaul that's featured within here. That's also a very brilliant mod whenever it comes to lighting. It just really brings the lighting in Skyrim to life. So yeah, if you haven't given any other lighting mods a try, I'd strongly recommend downloading Resplendence and seeing if you like the theme of the lighting within your load order as well. Coming in at the number 1 spot this week, we have an absolutely massive mod pack that completely overhauls everything that you craft throughout Skyrim. This is the Artisan Skills Reforged mod, and the mod page reads that this mod pack completely overhauls smithing, enchanting, alchemy, and cooking, and the Artisan gameplay with brand new features and mechanics. The mod page then goes on to list every single mod that's fit within this mod pack here on a huge list. And so I'll try to go through as many as I can and give you short little descriptions just so you know what you're getting into, but there's so much change with this mod. First off, you have the Smithing Oils mod, which is absolutely amazing to start out with because it adds a completely new crafting system that allows you to smith different types of oils for enchantments and different types of poisons that you can put on your weapon, your armor, or anything, and they actually last longer than just just one hit like a poison does. If you put one of these smithing oils on a weapon, it'll last about 5 hits depending on its potency, and I really like that. And the fact that it's its own new crafting station means you can use different types of gems, you can use charcoal. Charcoal has more use now, and different types of, just items that you find in the miscellaneous category, and combine them all together and make some very powerful smithing oils. So that's a strong start there. Up next, you have an enchanting overhaul, which pretty much just makes it so whenever you're enchanting items, you have less restrictions, so you can pretty much put any different type of enchantment on anything that would make sense. You have the weapon reforging mod, shorter crafting lists, which is smithing based on inventory, which is a mod that really limits your crafting list to things that you only have one item. So let's say I'm trying to craft a sword, but I only have the leather strips. The sword will still show inside because I have the leather strips, but let's say I had nothing, then nothing would pop up. I wouldn't even be able to know that I can craft a sword. So you actually have to have an item in your inventory that's based on what you're crafting in order for it to pop up in the crafting list. So it saves you some space there. You may not see that in this showcase here because I was trying to craft a bunch of stuff and I had so many items in my miscellaneous category that my lists are probably absolutely massive, but it will be a lot shorter if you're just playing an original game. On top of that, you have the Apothecary Alchemy overhaul, but wait a minute, that was the number 5 spot. Isn't that weird? But the reason why I am covering both Apothecary at the number 5 spot and then this at the number 1 spot is this is an absolutely massive mod. So if you just like Apothecary, you can just download Apothecary separately. But if you actually want all of these crafting changes and then also Apothecary, you can just skip downloading the number 5 spot and just download this mod instead because it's already included in there, baby. You get more bang for your buck that way. But on top of that, other mods, we have the Varlastone improvements, Harvest NPC, Potion and Scroll crafting, Shield enchantments, the Rupture and Crafting Soul Gems, so you can craft soul gems now. We also have Orion, which is a crafting overhaul that we covered way back in a previous mod episode, which is a brilliant crafting overhaul. More useful ingots is included in here, more hearthfire recipes, linked crafting storage, so you can store all of your items in one crafting chest, and then anywhere you go, you'll have access to it. And then you have mods such as the Smithing Forge menu, which changes everything that you see, whether it be Ebony, Dragon, Daedric. Instead of having those categories, you'll just have one called Boots, or one called Cuirasses, or one called Greaves, or, helmets, swords, great swords, axes, you name it. It'll have its own special menu, and you can definitely see that as I'm crafting stuff within this showcase here. You also have the numerical smithing upgrades mod, which makes it so instead of it saying epic, legendary, or, amateur type of upgrades whenever you're upgrading your gear, you'll have numerical upgrades so you know exactly what you're getting. Following that, we have the Lanterns and Candles mod, which is a brilliant mod that allows you to craft your own light sources. You can craft candles and then craft them into little candlesticks and put them on your tables inside of your house, or just light up any area that you'd want to all throughout Skyrim, and it actually counts as a light source. It doesn't just look like a candle, it is a candle, and you can activate it, turn it on and off, and move it around and make it static. It's a brilliant mod, and you can see that in this showcase here. After that, we have the Genuinely Intelligent Soul Trap mod, which basically makes it so if you have a bunch of soul gems in your inventory that are all empty and you kill something like a fox, the fox isn't going to go right into your grand soul gem, it's going to go in there intelligently and put it in petty or common, It just makes soul trapping a lot more efficient that way. Following that, you have the better Hearthfire crafting and items, Dragon damage enchantments, enchantment price formula, faster mining plus, freshly ground, soul arrows, unique armor crafting, glowing ore veins, gems in all mines, so you'll find more gems and ores throughout your travels and mining, Solar's portable crafting, which allows you to have different crafting stations that you can actually use whenever you're out and about. And that's just a few of the many mods that are featured all within this giant crafting mod pack, and I absolutely love this. This is a brilliant addition to Skyrim in the mod page here, and with it all coming in under 100 megabytes, it's definitely something that I would recommend trying out because there's so many changes to crafting in Skyrim with this mod that it would be almost impossible for me to cover it all in one simple video. So I'd strongly recommend downloading the Artisan Skills Reforged mod and giving it a try for yourself. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can join our Discord. I'll be sure to leave the Discord link in the description as well as the pinned comment so you can join us on there and leave mod suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys later.